Hey everyone, time for Puzzle Talk, the Geocaching Puzzle podcast brought to you by the Geocache Talk Network. If you'd like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or you can head over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now famous blackout coins and other geocaching items during the year, as well as bonus content, invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level. That's $3 a month. And here are your hosts, Charles Watkins and Tom Brotherman. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good
Howdy.
evening.
Bison's a big critter. Why do they call it a bison tube and not like
Right.
grasshopper tube?
Grasshopper tube. That's a good question for another show. That's for another.
Okay, if you make it.
There you go. Drink. So real quick, couple items, and then I'll turn over to Charles. When I mentioned that, it made me think about invites to special events. We had a cool special event at Mingo Madness Mega. And it was fun to see everybody at breakfast at the Village Inn. We kept those ladies hopping. They did a great job.
I have no idea how those two ladies kept up with that whole room.
They did, though. They kept up best they could, and pretty crazy. Yeah, Bison. Yeah, Albedo's. Yeah, remind us. Yeah, Bison was the company that developed it.
Oh man, I was saving that for the news because I actually knew that one.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I did too, but still, I mean, Bison's big. Grasshoppers.
Called pizza. Not sure on that.
No, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So
there is pickled beer, but I haven't tried it.
All right. Over to Charles.
Uh-oh.
Unless you want me to talk about something else. I got another. I got something else, but I'm gonna flip over to you for right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So Puzzle Talk merch.
Woohoo! There it is.
Look at there. There's the gray version of the Puzzle Talk shirt. I believe Tom and Gary are both sporting the black version.
Nope, I got the Mingo.
Oh, y'all are wearing the Mingo shirts. All right,
sorry,
you didn't get the message, dude.
That's okay.
I guess not.
That's
all
okay.
right. So, but Puzzle Talk merch is available.
Woohoo!
And it is you can find the link at geocachetalk.com and click the store tab in the upper right hand corner, or you can go directly to the store at chromiaprint.com/collections/geocaching. There you'll find all of our amazing Geocache Talk network merchandise, including all of the shows, but especially for Puzzle Talk. We've got our coins on there, shirts, and whatnot. There's some new stuff coming out that's on there all the time. Don't forget, Direwolf was the first to solve the puzzle on the back, but
he hasn't made the road trip.
Well, he doesn't have to make the road trip, but the road trip container is the magic mate to this one.
Yep,
is still out there, and it does contain one of our coins.
Yep,
and one of my. I don't seem to have one sitting on my desk. One of my trackable tags. So both of those are inside the container there at Ground Zero when you solve the puzzle. So, and then my trackable tag and my Lego minifig that were sitting on the table at Mingo Madness that disappeared at Mingo Madness are still MIA.
Oh, man.
And so we still have a most wanted. I've got posters up at the post office.
Dang it.
I was trying to get them on the backs of milk cartons. So I've got it, obviously, on the watch list. So we'll see. But if somebody is watching or listening and has a young one or mistakenly picked them up to relocate them, hey, shoot me a message. If you can get me my Lego minifig and my one trackable back, my adventure tag, because you inadvertently picked it up or made its way into the back seat of your car somehow at the Mingo Madness event, I will send you one of these geocaching 20-year celebration tags
nice.
in exchange for
Right.
for my
for holding
my
your
tags, right?
for holding your stuff hostage, we will provide a ransom.
That's right. Just like the company getting the pipeline going back again.
That's right.
We'll pay the ransom, send you a couple of trackables.
Be on our way.
As long as I can get mine back. So,
yeah, that was a real bummer. That was probably,
it happens. It happens.
I know, but
and believe it or not, I actually have one of those trackables made it in the mail to me from the factory with no code on the back of it.
Right.
And so I have talked to somebody who does laser engraving, and they said, "Oh yeah, we can laser engrave whatever code you want on the back of it." So I may be able to recreate it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the code, since I have a blank one. So there we go. And then we have an editor's note for a misquote. So we're gonna send it over to Gary. And for the correction from the Plain Old Sunday show.
Yeah, on the pause, also known as the Plain Old Sunday show, I mentioned that the person we were going to have on in a couple weeks, Daniel Barbarissi, wrote a book about the solving of the Zodiac cipher. And I had mixed in my notes 2 items, which was, hey, let's go. In my notes, it was, all right, I need to go find out. And I've been chasing this a little bit. I want to get somebody on this show to talk about the chasing that. I think there's a book in the works on chasing the Zodiac, how they solved the Zodiac cipher. But I inadvertently put that on the note for Daniel Barbarissi. Daniel's book, and I'll share this real quick because I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I do want to clear up my mistake
publicly.
So this is the book that Daniel wrote. It just came out today, called Chasing the Thrill, Obsession, Death, and Glory in America's Most Extraordinary Treasure Hunt. This is about Finn's treasure. And he goes through and talks about, I'm gonna read it, or at least listen to it. So Daniel Barbarissi first learned of Finn's hunt in 2017, and when a friend being consumed with decoding the poem and convincing Barbarissi, a reporter, to document his search when he began his attempt to capture the inner workings of Finn's hunt, quickly turned into a personal quest that led Barbarissi down a reckless and potentially dangerous path, one that found him embroiled in searcher conspiracies, which there were a bunch. I don't know if y'all heard about these. Matching wits with Finn himself. Over the course of 4 chaotic years, several searches would die. Endless controversies would erupt, and then one hunter would ultimately find the chest. And so should be an interesting read, I think. I've been fascinated by the story of Forrest Finn for many years, back when I'd seen it in a newspaper article, and it just kind of carried on from there. And then, of course, seeing it on, with Josh Gates, Expedition Unknown, one of my favorite shows of all time, and got me more interested again in it. So anyway, I contacted Daniel. This has been in the works for some time, and I'm excited to have him on the show. And I'll tell you here in a minute which show it'll be on. But anyway, that's my update. Back to you 2 guys.
Well, I think we should cut you a break, because whether it was Zodiac killers or this, it's still, there's death involved.
That's probably true. That's one way to put it. But this is a little different than the Zodiac Killer.
Slightly.
But I think it's fascinating. So I think we'll have a good time talking with him about the book. It won't be a full on commercial for him, but obviously we want to help him sell a book or two.
Did you see that?
What'd you see? What's that? I'm looking at notes. I'm sorry.
Look on your screen.
Oh. Well, thanks, Robert. Ended up with a 50,000. Wow. Now there you go. That's why you saw puzzles.
I found a genuine imitation Rolex watch in a cache once.
Did you really? Was it spelled different? Was it Rotex instead of Rolex?
I don't remember what it had on it, but yeah.
Did it tick instead of sweep?
It didn't. Yeah, it wasn't working, but I did take it to a jeweler just to be sure.
That's right. All right. Well, jumping right into we're going to jump into tonight's show.
Yeah. Let me wrap up the note real quick. It's going to be June 13th. So that's that. So
there we
June
go.
13th. Okay.
All right. So jumping into tonight's show, you're going to need 3 things for tonight's show. You're going to need books, brains, and time. Those are the same 3 tools you needed for last week's show. Same tools apply, though the books are slightly different books than last week's show.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of using the books to create a cipher or a code, these books are going to help you solve puzzles. So you need puzzle solving helpy books and whatnot. So
I would add one more tool to that Gary probably doesn't want me to add, but I'm going to say it anyway. Earplugs for just about 2 minutes, because part of the inspiration of this show was Bingo Madness and spending over 2 hours solving all those puzzles for the GeoArt and then not having a chance to go get them. It's like
that's right.
Yeah.
On your next trip to Kansas.
And
I could go back.
2 of them are archived, or going to be archived.
There's 3, but you can replace them, can't you?
Not in the same locations, but yeah, he could put them somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I think he's got 100 and whatever it is, 125. He doesn't need to. I think those are going to be gone. Everybody else was happy except for one farmer was not real thrilled that his dogs kept barking. So,
well, by the time we go back, his dogs may be dead, or
let's hope not. So anyway,
all right. Well, Tom, we're gonna pose the question to you: why would you solve a puzzle that you might never go out and find?
Because it's there. Just because it's there.
I like that.
It's fun. It's a challenge. I mean,
is it? Oh, it is. Never mind.
It is. Not all puzzles are challenging, but they're still fun to solve.
I guess that wasn't the time for the question. Is it? Oh, it is. It's fine.
So I used it for close to 16 years. I rode the bus to work.
Right.
And I'd see people on the bus doing crossword puzzle books and Sudoku books and all kind of other puzzle books, and they're doing stuff on their phone, puzzle stuff.
Yep.
There's no prize at the end of that. It's just the challenge and of getting it done. So how does that make a geocache puzzle any different? I mean, there's a bonus if you get to go find the cache, but just solving the puzzles, that can be enough sometimes too.
Absolutely. 100% agree. I have done that, and I have a list that I add caches to for solved puzzles that I have completed and solved, and I have a bookmark list in Cachely of solved puzzles.
That's a good place. Yeah. Then you can look. Yeah. That way you can have them right there. You can pull up the list anytime and go, oh.
Right. Now, my list right now has 35 caches on it.
Right.
It looks something like that.
Cool.
Right. So I have like New York, Pennsylvania, one in Florida, one in California. Let's see.
Yeah.
A couple in Texas, Oklahoma, and then, of course, I was living in Colorado, so I have a good slew of these that are up and down the I-25 corridor.
Right.
It just doesn't want to focus, does it?
No, it works. We're good. I mean, that's not bad.
So, and so now that I'm in Phoenix, I'm going to start working on puzzle caches to solve. And you may never get to these, I mean, I've got a couple solved that are up in, just south of Rochester, New York, and one that's in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I don't know if I'll ever make it to Erie, Pennsylvania. But if I ever do,
if you do,
I have a puzzle cache that I've already solved there. So work with me now gets me to travel plenty. And with that comes the opportunity to puzzle cache. So
there's something too that obviously you guys can speak to, and that is there's this culture. I mean, puzzle caches are kind of its own culture in a subculture of geocaching, but there's something there that Pizza Ninja lives up that way. He'll buy you a pizza. He just said the free pizza for you, Charles. So I think that's what he's trying to say here.
That's how I took it.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
Yeah.
But there's the subculture of a good subculture, and that is of these people that just solve puzzles. I mean, I think it's really cool because I think some people who are new to the sport don't think about the fact that it's almost like finding it without finding it. Does that make sense? There's a thrill to the solving that's worth the chase, right, Tom?
Yeah, I've saw plenty of them that I'll never find that I had fun solving them. So I'm not gonna whine too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm whining over Mingo because I was there, but if the cache is somewhere else, then that's where I'm not going to have any chance in the world to go to. Then that's a little different.
Yeah, Darryl. It's not the you're not gonna make the kill, but it's the thrill. It's the thrill of the chase. And endorphin release. Yeah, there is something to that. Oh, Pizza Ninja says free pizza and wings. You have to solve a puzzle to find it. Bring it on.
Of course.
Road trip. I'll go.
That reminds me of what Charles wanted to do with all of us for our shirts for Texas Challenge. We'd finished the Texas Challenge and he says, I'm gonna put them up in a tree. You have to climb a tree to get your shirt. I'm like, no, don't make me do that. Please don't make me do that. But
all right, so there's more to this, Tom, than just all right, so I wanted to do it because it was there, right? So there are other sometimes contributing factors that may lead you to spending a day inside trying to solve a puzzle.
Like today at my house and maybe Gary's. How was the weather at your house, Gary?
Pouring down rain.
Yeah, me too.
A gully washer, as we say down here in Texas.
Toad strangler.
Yeah. Well, and it was 95 degrees in Phoenix today, and tomorrow is supposed to be 101.
Yikes.
So a little bit warm.
A little bit warm. So so what does the forecast have to do with this?
if it's going to rain, if I lived up in Pennsylvania and they have that white crap on the ground half the year and
snow.
Yeah, I'm not going outside with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So depending on if it's less than ideal weather, that's a good reason for you to stay inside and solve a puzzle or two.
Yes.
Okay.
And I have done that many times.
Up Trisha's way, you can get out and actually find the puzzles you solve right now. 70s and Sun here in Northwest Pennsylvania.
No, it's not.
Not here.
No, not there either. There's no sun there in Pennsylvania right now.
Sun right now. She just meant in a general sense they're having the sun.
She's putting something in them wings.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I love about puzzle cachers is they dare each other. So GCD SK11 is daring. He has drawn a line in the sand. He dares you to find or solve GC2 D as in dog 5HE. So 2 D for difficulty, 5 H for hike, and E for event. It's not event, it's a puzzle, but he's daring. He's put the battery on his shoulder.
That's right. He's thrown the gauntlet down.
He says he wants you to knock it off his shoulder. Yeah. TKD Scouter, who he lives up in New Hampshire, is a winter friendly here means you know where to dig.
Yeah, winter friendly always seems to be. We went and did some geocaching when we were in. We flew to Alaska. Potentially, I was going to take a job up in Alaska, and so we flew up there for a week just to see how the weather was. And when we talked to the guy who picked us up from the airport, he's a local cacher. He's the reviewer for up there. He told us that, yeah, winter friendly. It has a couple of different definitions up here. Sometimes that means that it's hidden above snow line. He said it just kind of depends on when it was hidden. And the same thing up in the mountains of Colorado. We could find some on the ski resort. That meant that you usually could ski up to them. And that meant that they were usually right about head height for, a good snowpack year. Which when all the snow melted and those 4 feet of snow aren't there anymore,
right?
Usually meant that the cache was up there somewhere. Yeah. So
I can guarantee you that would be a puzzle cache that I would not lose sleep over not finding.
You're just happy with the salt.
Yeah.
The salt.
I'm not going out in the snow. I'm not going out in the snow where there's no oxygen, and I'm not going out in the snow where I can potentially have a tree jump out in front of me and break my leg. There's that something else that I didn't know about till a few years ago was the concept, and I learned this from I think her name's Team Magic. We've had her on the show before talking about puzzles, but is FTS.
First to solve.
First to solve. So there's
you jumped way down the list there, Gary.
That's a whole sorry, I jumped ahead. There's that whole subculture of within a subculture, which is the chase.
The certitude thing keeps track of who solved when. So there's people that's new puzzle comes out and it's got certitude. They're off to the races solving those things.
Yeah, I'm almost wanting to do, because of late the ones I've done have just been the generic geocaching one. I guess you could put both of them on there, right? You could have.
Yeah, you can.
I wonder if I need to go back. Well, not now, but like whenever I need to. I'm wanting to do another puzzle. I try to mix it up, especially in my area, because I don't have a lot of puzzle solvers in my area, but I like to throw them out there. And I'm thinking this time I'm going to put a certitude on it. So Jeff says the only FTS metric is when puzzle has a success fail counter. Makes sense. Like certitude. Geochecker, I think, has the check mark and the X or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I guess we got to wait for Gary to get back in the program here, though. But, oh, that's another thing when you're stuck waiting for someone or something.
Like at the doctor's office.
That's a good one. Oh, okay.
Or your air monitoring vendor. And, you know, I've talked about it a bunch of times on here, that one puzzle that I worked for like a year and a half on, and I was in their office when we were waiting for a guy to show up, and I saw the puzzle, and then everybody in the office knew about it because I was a little bit excited.
And then I'll look over at you. What's going on? Yeah. That's a cool, you know, I think that's, could you also say the same thing if you're waiting? You could also kind of work on creating a puzzle to an extent. You can't go all the way usually, but at least you could kind of write down some ideas, kind of mull it around in your brain as far as some possibilities of puzzles you could put out. Something
which goes with the next thing on the list, that you know, you may learn something new while putting out the puzzle. Everybody knows something. You can make a puzzle about something you know. If you're an accountant, you could put accounting rules out there and make a puzzle out of it.
I'm working on something just like that. So in the military, I was a Army Pathfinder. So we set up landing zones for paratroopers, right? And so going through the school, we had 3 mathematical formulas that you had to learn that told you how many, either how wide or how long a drop zone had to be, or how many paratroopers you could land in a landing strip that was so long and so wide before the plane had to make another trip around to make a second drop to get the rest of the people out. Right?
Why doesn't the plane just go along like this and then and drop everybody out at the same time? And they all go one spot.
Right.
So I was talking to another military vet who's also a geocacher, and he was a paratrooper, and I was like, we were talking at an event, and I told him, I said, yeah, I may try and make some, that where you have to use those 3 mathematical formulas in the Army. We called them the tutor, the dirt, and the decav formulas, right? And each one of those had different elements that told you different things, right? Different outcomes of the same problem. So working on trying to create a couple of puzzles where you have to know how many passes the plane has to make across the drop zone to get all of the paratroopers out, or some other stuff to that, but we had to calculate stuff like forward throw, because as you jump out of the airplane, you continue to move in the same direction as the airplane.
Oh, okay.
Until gravity gets a hold of you, and then you fall straight to the ground.
False. It's not the gravity. Without the gravity, without wind resistance, you would still be going the same forward. It's a wind resistance.
So
I took physics, so your 3 equations. The only one I need to know, I don't even know you need to know the equation. I just need to know 32.2 feet per second squared, or 9.81 meters per second squared. And that's how fast gravity's pulling you to the ground. And this fat boy ain't doing that.
Until you reach terminal velocity.
Terminal velocity.
Yeah, terminal. No. I'll stay on the plane.
But yeah, so that's going to be the cool thing, is that people will get to learn a little bit about what it what had to go through to to pass the school that I went through for some of that stuff. So it's going to be kind of neat to try to make one or two of those, give them the formulas, teach them, what parts of what go into it, and then give them a math word problem in a certitude to put an answer into. So we'll see how it all works, but should be a fun experience.
You could, just run with me here for a minute. We're getting off topic, staying on your thing, but you could put multiple certitudes in a puzzle, so you could have multiple jumpers on that thing. And I can be your 0. I didn't jump out of that plane. You ain't getting me to jump.
That's funny.
That's right. So, but you could learn something in the course of doing puzzle caches. Some local history of an area, depending on what the puzzle's based off of. Legends.
GT Buzz Z2. Terminal velocity is 0 feet per second. That is terminal. You've hit the ground. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Squirrel.
No, are you dead before you quit making the divot?
Probably.
So terminal velocity isn't 0 then.
A heart attack on the way down.
That
would be me. Yeah. All right, let's get back on because
another one. I thought of another one before y'all move on real quick. It reminds me. I think it's the cache that was in Mink. It was in the Colby area. I don't know if you guys did it. I think we were talking about this, but you could solve the puzzle, and what I mean that is you got to finish the game that's in the puzzle. Is that the one it had the dinosaur and you had to jump?
Oh, the T-Rex one. Yeah, that was there. Yeah. That was there at Colby. It was straight out the vendor's barn towards the back parking lot, and it was at the base of a tree.
But that's another thing you can do while you wait somewhere is finish I could never get the T-Rex to get through there without hitting a duck. Duck, T-Rex, duck.
On one of the old Geocache talk shows, y'all talked about the game 2048.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, I haven't checked lately, but at that time, I solved all the 2048 game caches that were in the U.S. And it's the same game. All some of them were done differently. Where instead of numbers, it had like Star Wars characters, but time killer for me.
That was your obsession. You went down a tangent.
I did. Oh, gosh.
And you were not a. Now
I wasn't a burnt gent.
You're a burnt gent right now.
That's right.
You were probably more like a tangent.
Teresa, the answer to your question is yes. You can have multiple certitudes on the same single puzzle cache, and we went over that in the checker. So if you go back to our show about checkers, you'll see where we pulled up several examples of
that's good though. That's
caches that had multiple certitudes because they had multiple layers to the puzzle on the cache page. So,
and you could hide information in 2 or 3 different places, right? Within the checker, like you said, you could make it. You could split up your info, right?
Yeah. So, Tom, that 2048 puzzles that you had solved, that goes into one of these things that you may see a variation of a puzzle you already know.
Yeah.
Right? So some of those 2048 puzzles were kind of tweaked, but they're all like a Sudoku puzzle. They all run the same typical theme.
Well, like I said, most of them were numbers, but there was at least one that they replaced the numbers with Star Wars stuff.
Right.
Worked exactly the same, but it was instead of 1 and 2 and 4 or whatever, it was like TIE fighters and Millennium Falcons. And
Happy Wednesday, Darren.
Trying to nab it up. No,
trying to nab it up. Yes.
Let's not say trying. Let's say we successfully got it.
There is no try. There's only do. There is no try. Sudoku. Let's call the whole thing off. Jeff doesn't like when we say Sudoku. He wants us to say Sudoku.
Well, I don't like when he says a boot. So
yeah, so there you go.
a boot.
A boot. That's what you put on your foot. A boot.
Sherry farms out her 2048s to hired help. Oh, her son.
All right. So, do you ever just solve them, hoping that? So this goes back to Mingo. You solved all of those puzzles at Mingo with the intent of.
I was hoping to.
I was in the same boat.
Well, why didn't we paddle it down the road and get the puzzles?
I don't know. We're so busy. That's the problem with.
I got stuck moving tables, so
we did get stuck doing that.
We did, and see, and we didn't even get a little yellow plaque to hang on our wall behind us, Tom.
Yeah. No, Gary, you got stuck moving the tables to the event. I did to and back.
You did to and back. Yeah, I was fortunate. I got the part of the logbook. Yeah, for spending all that time in the.
All right, show us where we signed. We're on there.
You're on there. There's Pathfinder right there.
Right. That's mine. Yep.
Pathfinder 33.
I mean, Tom was he above the 8? One of the 8s.
He's on here.
That's so yeah. So
riveting podcasting right now. But the cool thing is on the back. It was signed by the artist, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like the Geo art at Mingo, we solve puzzles with the intention of going to find them, and somehow it sucks to be Ryan's friend too, because you get stuck moving puzzles or moving tables at a Mingo Madness mega event.
It'd make a great shirt. Sucks to be Ryan's friend.
Yeah. And then this next one in the show notes, absolutely 100% pertains to me. Situations change.
Oh yeah,
and the puzzles now a couple of 100 miles away may be in another, maybe a cache.
Yeah.
Right. So, for me, I had all those puzzle caches solved in Colorado and then moved away from there. And so now I have to try and get some of these down around me in Phoenix solved. And then on the off chance that I find myself in the greater Denver area,
right,
in the future, I have a plethora of caches to go, puzzles that I have solved to go try and find. But yeah, exactly like this. Situation changed, moved, didn't just move towns, moved states.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you find yourself in a new part of the country.
So where you're at now, you can go night caching for a while, but long about middle of June, end of June, it's even too hot to cache at night?
I don't know if it's ever too hot to cache.
It's a dry heat.
Yeah, I mean, it might be for you. My tools of the trade though are changing. I've ordered my black light from Amazon to get shipped in, so I can find the scorpions when I'm out at night. Because
that's fun to do.
I don't know if people know that.
Yeah, so they secrete a enzyme that helps them shed their exoskeletons, and it makes them glow under a black light.
Yep.
So they glow this kind of cool, depending on what kind of scorpion, but they glow a kind of kind of neon blue color like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue to a kind of greenish yellow. So,
yep.
That's
exactly.
They glow about that color underneath a black light, and it's kind of neat. But it's the easy way to find them when you're out running around in the desert. Rattlesnakes usually let you know where they're at.
It's true.
They've got jewelry on their tail that they shake at you.
But they don't always. So you still got to be careful with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
check though. Also, related to that is solving puzzles for a location you're going to be in. So you get the possibilities. Is that did I ruin something?
No, but that was me too. A year ago, me and my wife had a trip to Europe planned for a month, and we had a puzzle cache on Malta and a puzzle cache in Spain and a couple of puzzle caches in Italy, and whatnot. But we had caches lined up, had a bookmark list, had gone through the trouble of translating these puzzles from, French to, English or Spanish, and worked all of that to solve them. And then our trip has been canceled again. So
you also had didn't you actually, Laura had worked out like a tour guide or somebody that could get you to a certain location on the Geo tour to try to get it so that you could complete it? So you get back. You could get back on the boat in time.
Yeah. So one of our stops, we had found where we could rent a car and drive up the coast an hour and a half. They said if you just went and did just the Geo tours, if you just went and solved them, that you could get it done in about 3 hours. And we were going to be in Port 8. And so we were like, all right, an hour there, 3 to 4 hours to complete it, an hour drive back, and whatnot. So, but it was going to be a tight squeeze, but we had kind of worked it out to where we could do a Geo tour while we were over there. And it was visiting a bunch of different castles. So it was going to be a really, none of the caches are really close to each other, but it was going to be a fun trip. But yeah, but
Spain and Italy aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, he'll go eventually.
And you said Malta. You said Malta?
Yeah, that's a little island off in the Mediterranean.
Yep.
It actually has a country souvenir for it now. So it was kind of neat because some of the places that we were going were going to hit for, some of those fun little digital icons. But yeah.
So every time you eat there, though, is that a Malta meal?
Oh, wow. Can we put him? Let me put him in.
That's right. In timeout. He's at 30 seconds.
That'll shut him up.
But
right. But so solving puzzles ahead of a known trip, like Tom did. Tom did that for Mingo. He solved all of the Geo arts.
Well, no payoff on that one, but
yeah,
but I have had them in the past. So like Woodstock and I believe it was the one outside St. Louis where they had the dove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's outside.
I did that one.
Yeah,
13 maybe. But yeah, there's
St. Charles. That's what it was.
St. Charles, yeah. But I think you're right. There's something not Mingo, but for example, if you're going somewhere, you solve it ahead of time. There's sort of an anticipation of being able to sort of seal the deal and complete that cache, and you get out there and you get to. There's that. It's not like going to find a cache just out of the blue, but you solved it. It's on your list. There's some anticipation. All right. We're going on this, we're going to Texas Challenge in Conroe, which need to go solve all those puzzles around in the Conroe area. And then, but I can't, but you want to wait till say March to finally get those caches. And then you get there and you're like, yes, it's been a while in the making, but there's something satisfying about that.
I will definitely be solving puzzles for Conroe, and I will definitely be finding something there. Because I'm not the president anymore.
That's right. Yeah, it's probably a weird feeling for you to actually go to an event. Well, but you kind of still work the event.
I still work because it sucks to be Ryan's friend, but
that's okay.
We love him. That's why we work for him.
We do. We love Ryan, but yeah, I was giving Dee a hard time about.
Oh, it sucks to be her friend too.
It
is.
But I was
she's the original one with that.
So I said that to her at bingo. I said, "Does it feel great to be at an event and not have to work?" And she looked at me and goes, "Where do you think I've been all the whole time?" She was in the maze like the whole time. So
absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah. Something cool about it. I do mention the one that we did. Wifey Pooh and I did the one out in West Texas. There's something cool about first solving it, and then B, maybe even more so the old days with you guys when you would solve a puzzle and have no idea if you were correct or not.
No, there was a checker. There was a checker.
Well, some of them didn't though.
No, there was always a checker.
Oh, was there a checker? You check it.
Yeah. You find the cache.
Right. There's your checker.
I got the cache. That's right.
Aimlessly wander around a field. You're like, it puts me out here.
Yeah. You're constantly checking. Did I get that? I know I did that. I know I did that puzzle right. And you're like,
that's right.
Maybe it's missing. Maybe it's, oh gosh, those days. But yeah, I'm sure there was a additional satisfaction when you're able to find a cache, no checker other than, like Tom said, yourself.
Have you ever found a cache that was out in the middle of a field?
No, I had one that I put out sort of end of the road, but it was behind it in a kind of a bare area, and it was in a stick, and that thing stuck around a long time. I was surprised. I figured it wouldn't last long, but have y'all, like literally out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, I have. There used to be a house out there.
Go
ahead, Charles.
So the one that I was thinking of, there used to be a house out there, and either the house burned down, tornado took it away, whatever the case may be, but the foundation was still there.
Oh wow!
And so they hid it in a section of the foundation that was exposed. But when you looked at it from the road, you're like, it's just an empty field full of grass.
Right.
And you got out there, and then all of a sudden there's, an very old rudimentary foundation for a old pier and beam house out there. Right. And you're but there was no old timber. There was no nails. There was no nothing there that suggested that it burned to the ground.
Right.
And so you thinking tornado took it away. But yeah, just out there in the middle of and they never rebuilt it. So it just, a foundation out there in the middle of a field that you didn't know was out there until you got out there because there was knee-high grass. So
right. That's cool.
The one I'm thinking of was just out in the middle of a field. It was first stage of I think 5-stage puzzle. And it was a PVC pipe stuck in the ground, and you had to undo the cap. But, it was out in the middle of a field. So you look out there and walk into it. You're saying there's nothing here. Why am I walking out there until you get there? And then it's like, oh, what's this out in here?
Exactly.
That was
good. Tom, you like solving lonely puzzles?
I do. I got one between Christmas and New Year's this past year. We did a trip out. We went to Ozona and spent the day there, and then did a road trip to Fort Davis and Terlingua and Presidio, back through Marfa and back up to Ozona. But one of the puzzles, in fact, it was the first cache of the day, was in Fort Davis.
That's
And
West
it was
Texas,
a puzzle
by the way, for the
way out in the middle of nowhere, West Texas. The only thing out there is an observatory and some. I don't even remember seeing critters where I was at. No, there wasn't even tumbleweeds.
Wow.
But it was a hilly area and had nice trees and stuff. But I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I want to say it'd been 3 years since that puzzle had been found, because that was part of the Texas Winter Games thing we do.
Oh yeah.
One of the things you could get points for was finding a lonely cache, and of course, the lonelier it was, the more points you got. And I could have got more points doing something else, but a puzzle cache had only been found once and hadn't been found in 3 years. That was like, here's the match, and here's Tom flying to the flame.
Moth to the flame.
Yeah, that's it. So, and the other good reason that you go and solve a puzzle that you may never get to is because, well, hey, it may just be part of the Geocache Talk, Puzzle Talk show.
Yep. Oh, yeah, there you go. There it is. There's part of it. Oh, didn't get very long. That's good.
And you may be like Mr. Direwolf and get stuff mailed to you, and you don't ever have to leave the comforts of your home.
Wait, do we have to actually mail him that stuff? Is that really what has to happen? I didn't know. Yeah, I gotta put his stuff in the mail. Hopefully tomorrow.
I still got to remember to get his hamburger.
That's right. You need to film that. Get the wifey poo to film that. So yeah.
She had stuff going on tonight, or I could have gotten it tonight.
You could win a prize.
You could absolutely win a prize. You could. There's a Puzzle Talk coin. There's a year premium membership.
Yep.
To Groundspeak. There's
Plain Old Sunday Show.
The Plain Old Sunday Show coin. There's all kinds of goodies that you can win by solving puzzles that without ever having to leave the house.
Exactly.
Though there is still something hidden at this location. So don't give up. If you've got a shirt and you're working on it, keep working on it, because there is a pot of gold, or at least there's a lock and lock at the end of this rainbow. So don't give up. Keep going down that route. But there are some, if you do like solving puzzles on the daily, or you do like working on them, we do have.
You did skip one.
What did I skip?
You skipped the next to right before the thing you were just talking about.
Oh,
and I use this one a lot.
Solve a puzzle, or
I can solve the puzzle or mow the lawn.
Mow the lawn.
And I'll take puzzles or enablers for 1,000, please.
Yeah. I don't have to worry about that. I have no grass at my house anymore.
That's right. You're in Arizona.
So I don't have to mow the lawn. Though I do have to, I guess, wash the rocks off.
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah.
So
that's true.
But we do have there is a geocaching puzzle of the day that gets put out. There is a link to it.
Yes.
It's the Geocaching Puzzle of the Day.blogspot.com, and they give you a new puzzle every day to work on. And so you can go in and look at that and try to solve the puzzle of the day and whatnot. It gives you a new puzzle cache every day to work on. They're picked at random and whatnot. So
they usually start out pretty easy during the week and get progressively harder.
And you can go back. The good thing is they're still all archived. I mean, you can go back, but yeah.
Right. Yes, and you can suggest puzzle caches that you thought were kind of cool or neat and that you wanted to submit. So you can, there's a contact us link on that website where you can contact them for suggestions for a puzzle cache of the week.
Yep. Team Magic. Yeah, she's great. We've had her on the show before on the Pause Plain Old Sunday show, but she's that's dedicated to she's got to put those up, every day, let alone solve them. You know, I don't necessarily think she solves them all, but she's got to at least.
I think she knocks a lot of them out of the park.
She does. That's true. But what's cool is that they're there, and by golly, you can fire away at them.
Yep. The other one that Tom has come up with is puzzlecachepractice.com.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that one before, but I like it.
So it is another link. It looks like it. I'm sitting here looking through it. You know, so it looks like it's probably fairly, I don't want to say outdated, but it looks like the last links that were put in it were 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So
I believe it's from Kelly Long's book.
Yeah.
But it's there and it's a resource. So
got a few to take a shot at.
Yeah, absolutely. So go through and do some of those. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there is a link for older posts. So just like the other one, there is an archive of their stuff that's on the site. So Puzzle Cache of the Day and Puzzle Cache Practice both have a pretty good archive of stuff. So, and then Tom, what do you do when you get to a puzzle that you just can't solve?
I leave it for a while and come back to it. And in fact, the one I put on here, I haven't looked at in a while, and I need to come back to it again because I have this thing like 3/4 solved.
Let's go to the puzzle.
Go to the puzzle. Show that nasty thing.
All right. So
run that footage.
Share my screen.
Put it in the chat room.
So this is.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're doing exactly what I was going to do.
GC3 hike query X file 1 GC3 HQX1, and it is called Connector Plum of Twos. Back to you, Charles.
Yeah. So, well, this is Tom's puzzle that he can't solve that he's gone round and round. It is a difficulty 4.5, terrain 2.5. So you're gonna have to wear your sneakers for it, but
no sandals. Yep.
And it's like halfway between us, isn't it? I've done 3/4 of the work. You could do the last quarter, and we'll meet up there together and get it.
Is that how that works? Interesting. It's got circles for our audio listeners. We're puzzling over a puzzle.
So it's got 2 circles of concentric rings. A catcher grief follows, inscribed yogurt wink wort. A cad deed foil lost patrons, fan's tail eye.
Ooh.
And then it's got coordinates, question marks, and duck logo.
What 3 words?
No. Nope.
Or I know there was a what for.
Work with duck logo.
Duck logo.
Look at duck logo pretty hard.
Duck logo. Oh, there's something inside the duck logo?
What do you think he really told you there with duck logo? He told you a bunch of stuff, and then he put coordinate stuff, and then he put duck logo with an exclamation point.
Oh, is that, well, it could be, always could be red herring, but
It's not.
okay.
That's actually a clue.
Duck logo.
Uh-huh.
Duck
Well,
logo.
it was last found in.
Here's my puzzle. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Duck logo.
What's the last thing I'm going to tell you?
Good luck.
How do you spell good luck?
Oh, duck logo. Duck. Good luck. So he mishmashed it together somehow.
That's it. It's like you scrambled it up and made new words out of good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Took the Scrabble letters and rearranged them.
So I wonder if that's also when you go to the page with the photo. It's a
Anagrams. Dire Wolf wins.
Flickr. So yeah, you can go to wordunscrambler.me. You can put in.
I've been to a bunch of these, and I say I've got 3/4 of it done, and got the title and all but one of those.
So you're quite a ways down the road then.
I'm a ways down the road, but I don't have it done.
And
that kind of sucks.
But it's
you come back to it.
It's like
I know this. I've already got where it's hidden. I mean, what the height is. So I could go to that ground zero there for where it's posted and just walk concentric circles for 2 miles out. I've got to come to it.
Just wander.
Walk
it's sort of the
desert with the horse and no name.
It's the large jigsaw puzzle in the back room table that you want to come back to every now and then and put a few pieces in and then leave and come back later.
And yeah. I'm sure Dire Wolf's going to probably come back next week with that thing solved, and I'm going to have to go kill him. But
well, I don't know if death is the proper thing, but
that seems to be a theme tonight.
That was earlier.
You and your books and this and
yeah.
Well, and this is my puzzle cache that I keep coming back to.
Your white whale.
That's it. So just like now, this one was hidden in 2006.
Oh wow!
Difficulty 5, terrain 1.5. It's only been found one time.
GCZ, as in zone 19X, like an X file. GCZ 19X. That's you can tell by the digits of that GC. It's been out there a long time.
It's been out there a while, and it's only been found once. And I've looked at this and worked at it and whatnot. But there's something up here that you need to know. I've tried running this thing through, several different things trying to unscramble stuff. There are code words in here, like the FDTSAS, right? The chub is in here several times.
There's a lot of info.
There's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of initials, lots of anagram, whatnot there. So it's been a fun thing to kind of go over and over and over. He's got a bunch of different names and whatnot in there, so you don't know what's the code word and what's not. The title of it, GMT. I thought about using those letters in a I'm drawing a blank now on what I was using them in, but I was using those as decoding letters, and that didn't get me anywhere. But it's only been found one time. It was found in 2019.
GMT would be Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So, well, and so when you go and look at this says chapter 2. It's all Phil's fault, right? But when you go and look at this cacher's, there's no GMT 1. There is no. Oh wow. There's no chapter 1. So it throws you for a loop. It's in Idaho. I'm sure we've driven past it just a handful of times, going back and forth. But this is one of those that I'm like, if I ever solve it on my way to my mother-in-law's house in Southeast Washington, we're going to stop and find it. And that has yet to have happened. So there you go. Those are 2 white whales for y'all if you want to try and give them a go. Both very high difficulty puzzles and whatnot. So
cool.
So, but as spring comes for us spring and summer comes for us in the Northern Hemisphere, and winter is upon you guys down south. When it gets either too hot or too cold or is rainy, spend you some time indoors, solve you a couple of puzzle caches. That way, when the weather's nice, you've got something to go find.
That's right. All right. Well, we'll see you guys. Let's see. Puzzle Talk will be back June 8th.
Yes, the 8th and the 15th of June.
Yes.
So we'll get some puzzles up on the Instagram page. If you follow the Instagram page, I only got one puzzle up in the last 2 weeks.
You've been moving.
The puzzle is I don't want to say Kryptonian, but Kryptonian. It's Superman.
Yeah, Krypton.
Language. So that's what the puzzle that's up there was for, and it takes you to the nuclear reactor that melted down in Russia.
So
it asks you for.
I'm not going to find a cache there either. I don't want to come out with 5 or 6 guys.
It can't be any worse than what you already are, Tom.
Yeah, really. You're electric water.
Don't be scared. Yeah, don't be scared.
You've probably been radiated a lot of times.
Yeah, actually, I have.
A lot of heavy water in your area.
So, but yeah, get out there, solve you some puzzles. We'll be back next month, and we'll post some new stuff up on the Instagram page. If you want to give us some ideas for a future show, shoot us an email at puzzletalkpodcast@gmail.com. We do take requests, and so if there's a style of puzzle or a couple of particular ones that you want us to look at and possibly do a show on, shoot us an email. We'll take a look at them. We'll fit them into the schedule. We'll try and find some other examples close to it, and we'll try to help you solve one of your nagging puzzles in your area. Or at least give you the tools.
That's right.
Or we'll get in a boat with you and say, we don't have a clue.
Well, that's possible to happen as well.
We'll die in that foxhole with them.
That's right.
Another death reference.
Oh, man.
All
right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all in a couple of weeks.
All right.